Good morning, friends. Today we are going to do the last two topics of this chapter, electricity, the heating effect of electric current and electrical power. So I hope you have revised the formula we have done so far. The first one, Q equal to NE, then I is equal to Q upon T, V is equal to IR, R equal to rho L by A. Then we also did series and parallel connection, but the numericals of the series and parallel connection we are going to do in the next lecture. This lecture we are going to finish two more topics: heating effect of electric current and electrical power. So here we go. About the heating effect. So here is the diagram again, which is showing you electrons. Can you see this diagram? The free electrons, they move randomly. Now because of their motion, they possess a small amount of kinetic energy called thermal energy. They possess a small amount of thermal energy. So these electrons are moving randomly. And when a battery is attached to the conductor, work is done by the battery on the conductor, and all the electrons are now moving in one direction. But this energy gets converted into heat and causes an increase in the thermal energy of the wire. Means the wire is getting heated. Now why does this happen? This happens because the thermal energy is increasing because the free electrons are colliding. So when these free electrons are moving, they are colliding with the ions. So when the battery gives them energy to move in one direction, while they are moving in that direction, they are also colliding with the ions, giving rise to heat. So this makes the wire hot. So when electrons are moving, they collide with the ions and increase the heat of the wire. The wire becomes hot, and this is used in the equipments or the machines which are designed to generate heat, like the electric iron, the electric heater. Yes, we have a wire which becomes hot on passing electric current. So now we'll go to the heating effect of electric current. To maintain the current, the source has to keep expending its energy. Means the battery has to lose its energy to maintain the current, that is, keep all the electrons flowing in one direction. Now, a part of the source of energy can be used to do some work. For example, when you put on the fan, then the blades of the electric fan are rotating, but at the same time the motor is getting hot, even the wires are getting hot. So some energy is converted into mechanical energy, but some energy is also converted into heat. So source energy is expended to increase the temperature of the gadget. So whichever gadget is being working, it is getting hot. So when you put on the fan, the blades are rotating, electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy, but at the same time it is getting heated also. Now imagine an electric circuit which is purely resistive. Purely resistive means there is no light to be converted or no mechanical energy, no sound energy, but purely heat energy. So there is a configuration of resistors connected to a battery. So you have only got resistor connected to a battery. In this case, electricity is not converted to light or mechanical energy or sound energy or any form of energy except heat. So there are devices like electric heater, electric iron, which work on this principle. So now we have to derive that equation. So let us derive. Now consider a current I flowing through a resistor of resistance R. So we have a resistance R, we have applied a potential difference V across it, and I is the current flowing through the resistor. Let T be the time during which the charge Q flows. So remember all this. The current, okay, in the circuit, the voltage applied is V, the resistance is R, the current flowing is I. Now the current is what? I is equal to Q by T. So the charge Q is flowing for time T. These are the considerations of a purely resistive circuit. So we have, by definition, volt is equal to work done upon charge moved from one point to another. Rearranging the equation, we get W equal to VQ. So work done in this circuit is potential difference into electrical charge. Now we can write W is equal to VQ, or Q is equal to IT. So we can write W equal to VIT. The work done is the voltage applied, the current passing for a given time. Once again, replacing the value of V by IR, we have W equal to I square RT. So work done is the square of the current into the resistance into the time. Now, like we told, the circuit is purely resistive, means there is no conversion of light, no conversion of sound, no conversion of mechanical energy, only converted into heat. The heat energy is given by H. So here, all the work W which is being done is converted only into heat. So W, the work done, is converted into the heat H. So we have H equal to I square RT. This is known as Joule's law of heating. Remember, the heat produced is given by the formula H is equal to I square RT. But we can also use H equal to WQ. We can also use H equal to VIT, or we can use H equal to I square RT. These are the different forms of the same formula of the heating effect. This law is known as Joule's law of heating, and this particular slide, is giving you the derivation of how to derive the formula H is equal to I square RT. So we'll take an example now to make it simpler. 100 joule heat is produced in a 16 ohm resistor, and we have to find the potential difference. So we need to find a formula which relates potential difference V to the heat produced H and resistance R. Now we know H is equal to VIT. We have done in the previous slide, W equal to VIT or H equal to VIT. Replacing the I by V by R, Ohm's law. Replacing I equal to V by R, the equation now becomes V square by R into T. Okay, now we are given H, so we'll rearrange the formula once again. So what happens? This R goes into the multiplication. Yes, the T comes into the division. So we have V square equal to HR by T, or V equal to under root of H into R upon T. Now putting the values, H is given as 100, R is given as 16 ohm, and time is given, no time is given. So you have to take the unit time per second. It is okay, the time is mentioned here per second. So we have 40 volt. So a 40 volt potential difference in 1 second. Yes, when a 40 volt potential difference is applied to a conductor with resistance 16 ohm for 1 second, the heat produced is 100 joule. So here we were given the heat produced and we had to find out what is the voltage. I hope this equation is simple for you and the topic is now clear. And the next topic is the topic of electrical power. Now what is power? Power is the rate of doing work. Now to understand the rate of doing work, let us consider some work. Suppose you're living in a two-storied house or a flat and you have got a water tank on the top of the flat. Now every morning or once in a day, you fill some water in that tank. How do you fill the water in the tank? Yes, of course, by the electric motor. So the electric motor is filling the water in the tank, means it is carrying the water from the ground level to the second story or the top of the flat. So when you're carrying the water to a certain height, you are increasing the potential energy. Okay, but work has to be done. Now suppose it takes 2 hours for the water for the whole tank to fill. So what is the power of the motor? The work done upon the time taken. So if you have a bigger motor with more power, it will take less time to do the same work. So power is the rate of doing work. When the work done is the same, a motor with more power will do the same work in less time. Okay, so this is an example. You can also think of examples of bikes. I hope you people love bikes. Now there are many bikes in the market, the R15, and I do not know, but there are bikes with very powerful engines. So what does the word powerful engine mean? They have got more power. Means they can do more work in less time. So because of more power, they go faster and cover more distance in less time. So this is the idea of power. Power is the rate of doing work. So the formula is P is equal to W by T, the work done in unit time. Now previously we saw W is equal to VIT. So the T here gets cut off. So we are left with P is equal to VI or equal to I square R because V is equal to IR. So we have got three formula for power also. P is equal to W by T or P is equal to VI or I square R. Now look at this, P is equal to VI and define power. Electric power is 1 watt. The unit of power is, the SI unit of electric power is watt. So when is the power 1 watt? When 1 ampere current, that is I is 1 ampere current, flows through a circuit having potential difference 1 volt. So when 1 volt is the potential difference V and 1 ampere is the potential is the electric current, then 1 volt into 1 ampere will give us the power of 1 watt. Okay, this equation also gives us, so what does power mean? So if you look for a heating circuit, we know H equal to, what was the law if you remember? I square R T. So heat effect, the heating effect or the work done is I square RT. So for the power, you divide it by T. So when you divide it by T, what do you get? Power is I square R. So electric power can also be said as the heat generated in 1 second. So electric power is the electrical energy dissipated or consumed in 1 second or in unit time. So again we have got the different formula for power, P equal to VI, P equal to I square R or P equal to V square by R. So this is electrical power, the amount of energy consumed per unit time or the amount of work done per unit time. Now we'll take another example. Okay, so let us see. It is the power consumed by a device that carries 1 ampere of current when operated at a potential difference of 1 volt. So when you applied 1 volt potential difference and the current flowing through the conductor is 1 ampere, the power consumed per second is 1 watt. So 1 watt is 1 volt into 1 ampere. Okay, it is also given as 1 kVA. Okay, now what is 1 kVA equal to? Sorry, we don't have to put the equal to here. What is 1 kVA equal to? 1 K means 1 kilo, 1000. So 1000 watt ampere is 1000 watt. Also given, the unit watt is very small. So in practice we use kilowatt. What is kilowatt? 1 kilowatt is 1000 watts. Now, kilowatt hour is the commercial unit of electric energy. So every 2 months you get an electric bill in your house. The electric bill says you have used this many electrical units. So what is electrical unit? It is nothing but kilowatt hour. So now you can calculate the amount of electric bill you get in 1 month depending upon how many electrical devices you use in your house and for how many hours per day. So the electric bill has got something called commercial unit. The commercial unit is 1 kilowatt hour. So now we look at a few numericals to see how we can calculate that. Okay, now 1 kilowatt hour. What is kilowatt? It is 1000 watt. So 1 kilowatt is 1000 watt. 1 hour is 3600 second, because 1 hour is 60 minutes and 1 minute is 60 second. So 60 into 60 is 3600 second. So we get 3.6 into, sorry, the into is not there, 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 watt second. This is 1 kilowatt hour, also written as 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joule. So one commercial unit is 1 kilowatt hour, or 1 kilowatt hour is 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joule. Also you can write it as 3, 6 and 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 joule. So when you use this much energy, you are consuming one electrical unit, for which you get the electric. Now we have taken an example to make it simpler. A torch bulb is rated at 2.5 volt, 500 milliampere. Now what does this rating mean? This torch bulb means you have to use this bulb only in a torch, with batteries having total voltage 2.5 volt, and the current which it draws is 500 milliampere. Okay, you remember this. You cannot put this bulb into the home plug. Why? The home power source is 220 volt. The bulb will fuse. So we have a torch bulb here, which we should be operated at 2.5 volt. And when you operate at 2.5 volt, in 1 second it consumes 500 milliampere electric current. It is milliampere. What is milliampere? Yes, 1000 milliampere is 1 ampere. So it is milliampere means 1 upon 1000 ampere. Now we have to calculate the power and the resistance. So let us begin with the formula. We know power equal to V into I. What is the V here? 2.5 volt. What is the ampere? It is 500 milliampere. So 500 upon 1000 is 0.5 ampere. Multiplying, we get 1.25 watt. So the power of the, so what is power? Energy consumed in unit time, means energy consumed in 1 second. So this bulb consumes 1.25 watt energy in 1 second. Now the resistance, we know V is equal to IR. So I equal to V by I. We know the voltage, we know the current. So the resistance of this bulb is 5 ohm. Here it is simple, clear to you. Okay, next example. A 100 watt electric bulb is lighted for 2 hours daily, and 4 40 watt bulbs are lighted for 4 hours every day, daily. Calculate the energy in kilowatt hour we consumed in 30 days. So what have we got? You got one bulb of 100 watt, 4 bulbs of 40 watt. The 100 watt bulb is lighted for 2 hours every day. The 40 watt bulbs are lighted for 4 hours every day. And you have to see how much energy is consumed in 30 days. So energy consumed, or the work done by 100 watt bulb in 2 hours. So what is work? Power into time. Yes, energy is also power into time. Power is 100 watt, time is 2 hours. So it is 200 watt hour. But we want in kilowatt hour, so we divide by 1000. So 200 watt hour divide by 1000. If you divide by 1000, what will you get? If you divide it by 1000, 0.2 kilowatt hour. This is the energy taken by the 100 watt bulb. Now energy consumed by 4 40 watt bulbs in 4 hours. So again 40 watt into 4 hours into 4 bulbs. So we have 640 watt hour. Converting into kilowatt hour, we have 0.64 kilowatt hour. Now adding this to the total energy consumed in 1 day is 0.2 plus 0.64 equal to 0.84 kilowatt hour. That is for 1 day. So the total energy consumed in 30 days, you multiply by 30 and you get 25.2 kilowatt hour. So in 1 day you have used up 25.2 kilowatt hour, 25.2 units. So let us say the rate of the GEB, yes, the PGVCL, it charges us, let us say 8 rupees, or let us say 10 rupees for simplicity. Let us say it charges 10 rupees per unit. Now since we have used this in the whole month, the total bill for this much energy will be 225.2 into 10 is 252 rupees. Do you follow this? Yes, let us say the PGVCL, our electric board, charges us 10 rupees per electrical unit. Now, since we have used 25.2 electrical units, into 10 will give us 252 rupees bill only for the lights. Now, you will know when you use ACs and fridges and what heating, yes, the washing machines, the electric heaters, they consume a lot of energy, so the bill will be quite higher. As a citizen, we should make sure to save as much energy as possible. Yes, because we should not waste energy. It is a natural resource of our country. So the less we use energy, the less resources we consume. And now we have the last example for the day. An electric iron heater. Yes, the heater has a resistance of 25 ohm, operates at 220 volt for 12 minutes. So how much heat energy is dissipated? So we have an electric heater having a resistance 25 ohm. The voltage in the house 220 volt. Suppose we are using for 12 minutes. We have put on the electric heater for 12 minutes. Now you will put sometimes for 5 minutes, 10 minutes depending upon the use. So if we have put it for 12 minutes, how much heat energy has been dissipated? So the resistance is 25 ohm. The voltage is 220 volt given. The time is 12 minutes, that is 720 seconds. Energy dissipated or work done, we have the formula V square into T by R. Replacing the value, you get 220 into 220 into 720 upon 25. So in 12 minutes, 1393920 joule or 1393.92 kilojoule of heat energy is dissipated. So this is the end of the lesson. We have covered all the topics. We started with the charge Q equal to NE. Then we introduced electric current I equal to Q by T. Then we went to Ohm's law, V equal to IR. Then we did the factors of on which resistance depend. R equal to rho L by A. Then we did series connection and parallel connection, which I will make you do in the next lecture. We are yet to do the numericals of series and parallel connection, which we'll do in the next lecture. And the other thing that we had was electrical power and work done by the heating effect of electric current. So these are the topics done. Make sure to go through the videos again and again and learn it as much as possible. Now I'll see you in the next lecture with the numericals of series and parallel connection by the diagrams. We'll have the diagrams and we'll do it. So I hope you understood the lesson. Yes, in case of any doubts. Now I want to give you some homework also. Go through the NCERT book. There are in-text questions and questions given behind the book. I hope now you will be able to solve all those questions. So please solve them. Okay. Thank you.